Today's lesson is on Reflections Advanced, and it will cover pages 159 to 161 instead of the x-axis. This lesson will start with an investigation. You are going to be looking at what the distances are between points and their reflections in horizontal and vertical lines. So, which transformation takes A, B, C to A image, B image, C image? So if we look here, we've got this one, and then it crosses. So this is A. Is it a reflection, a translation, or a rotation? Those are your three choices. Then for part B, find the distance between the points. So to go from C to C image is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? B to B image, A to A image, so you're counting. And you'll fill in the table. So this is just for A to A image, B to B image, C to C image. Then for part C, you're comparing the vertical distance in adjacent pairs of columns. So what do you notice? So basically, you are going to also figure out A to the mirror of A. So where A crosses through the mirror, where B crosses through the mirror, where C crosses through the mirror. So if you look at these two pairs of numbers, what do you notice? Is there a relationship where one is twice as big as the other one? Is it half? What is that relationship? And then for B, we're doing the same thing except for our triangles are going across the y-axis. So you'll have to go across this way. So question A, what transformation? So is it a rotation, a reflection, or a translation? And then look at the distances. So D to D image versus D to the mirror of D. Question C asks you to compare your results from part A and part B. So especially look at kind of part C, what's the relationship between the adjacent columns? Is it the same relationship for A and B, or is it different? Question D asks you to use your findings to draw the mirror line in each picture. So you should have found that the mirror line has to be halfway between the two shapes. So you look at where the points reflect and draw a line halfway in between for each of them. Question E is going to give you a scenario that you have to sketch out. So a point P, so you could choose wherever you want that to be, I'll mark one here, is reflected in a line AB. So you just get to decide any line. So I would recommend going vertical or horizontal. It's going to be much worse to do it the other way. So I might make a line here, A, B. And so then you're going to reflect the image of P under the reflection. So I will put in some numbers here so that you can see where these are at. So if I have my point P that is at 2 and 2, that means it is one space away from the line AB. So I need to go one more space to draw P image. So then we're going to answer true or false to these questions. So AB is parallel to the line PP image. So this would be the line PP image. So do this and this, are they parallel? So parallel means they run at the same place. Perpendicular means that they make like a right angle. So true or false? AB is a perpendicular bisector of the line segment PP image. So if we look at this, does it make a perpendicular line? So does it make a right angle where it meets? And does it cut through halfway through the line? That would make it a bisector, and the 90 degree would make it perpendicular. The third question is PP image is perpendicular bisector of the line segment AB. So is this perpendicular? Could be. Is it a bisector? It might not be exactly halfway, right? So then that would be false potentially. Now that we've finished the investigation, there will be 2 pages of questions for you to answer. So question 1 asks you to reflect the triangle through the line. So this is the line, which will be our mirror. So you need to reflect it across. So here's 2 spaces, here's 2 more. If this is 4, you need to go 4 more spaces. If this is 2, then we go another 2. For B, slide the triangle 4 units down. So all of them, instead of reflecting, we're just sliding them 4 units down and then connect the dots. Part C will ask you to use parts A and B to fill in the table with true or false. So this is a reflection, this is a translation. So the original figure and the image are congruent. Remember, congruent means same size, same shape. Doesn't matter if they're facing different directions. The original figure and the image face. The next question asks if the original figure and the image figure face the same direction. So are both triangles facing the same way, or do they face opposite directions? The original figure and the image figure face in opposite directions. Okay, so we'd have true and false for both of those. Question 2 has several different components. So the pairs of triangles below are related by a reflection through either a horizontal or a vertical line or a translation. So we have 3 options. It could be a reflection across a horizontal line, so it could be 1 and then it reflects below. Could be a reflection through a vertical line, so it reflects to the side, or it could be a translation, so the whole thing just slides. Your job is to plot the triangles and then say which transformation was used, and you can identify the mirror lines and draw the translation arrows. So I'll do the first one with you. So the first one is triangle ABC. So A is 3 and 1, B is 3 and 4, and C is 5 and 2. So then you would connect all of the dots, except you're going to connect them correctly because X always needs to come first. So 5 and 2 is actually going to be over here. Then we're going to do A image. So A image is -1 and 1. B image is -1 and 4. And C image is -3 and 2. So if we look at these, we can tell that they are a reflection, and because it's reflecting left to right, it's through a vertical line. And if I needed to include my vertical line in the drawing, these are 1, 2, 3, 4 apart, A and A image, so I would draw a line that goes halfway in between. For each of the following questions, you'll just do the same thing. Plot the points, draw them on the same graph if you'd like, draw the mirror lines or the translation lines, depending on which it is, and say how you get them. Question 3 asks you to reflect triangle ABC through the x-axis. So our mirror line would be the x-axis here, and so you would reflect it across that. Then it's going to ask you to reflect your new triangle through the y-axis, so it should end up in this quadrant over here. Ying thinks ABC, which is your newest triangle in the 3rd quadrant, is obtained from ABC by a translation. Is she correct? So is it simply a slide to get there, or does it have to be some type of reflection? Question 4 is dealing with something similar, but using a trapezoid instead. So reflect ABCD through the x-axis, so it should come down into the 4th quadrant, and then reflect the image through the y-axis, so it would go across here. Reflect ABCD first through the y-axis, so now we go back to the beginning, reflect it through the y-axis, so it'll end up in the 2nd quadrant, and then through the x-axis, so both of them should end up finally in the 3rd quadrant. And then they're asking what you notice about those images. As we get to these later questions, like question 5, we're doing multi-step transformations. So our first one in question A is to reflect ABC first through the mirror line. So you would start by reflecting it across and drawing your triangle. And then you are going to translate the image 5 units left and 1 unit up. So you would take your image here, your reflection, and move it 5 units left and 1 unit up and redraw it there. Part B asks you to translate this triangle, so we're going back to the original, 5 units left and 1 unit up, and then reflect it across the mirror line and asking if you got the same result. Question C asks you to translate 5 units left and 1 unit down and then reflect to see if you got the same answer. So explain why you have to reverse the vertical direction. So why does it work if you reverse it and not if you do the same and then flip it, right? How close do you need to get to the line? The final question is question 6. It asks you to reflect triangle ABC through the mirror line L. So that's your first step is we'll reflect it. And then we're going to translate the image 2 units up and 3 to the right and label that triangle as A image, B image, C image. And then Mark wants to move ABC to A image, B image, C image using a translation. So just using a slide and then a reflection in line L. So explain how he can do this. So first, he'd have to translate it so that it can be the reflection of the other one, and then it would be able to flip, okay? This lesson could be a little bit more challenging, so please do not hesitate if you need to reach out and ask for a Zoom call so that we can go through it more step by step.